How's it going, guys? I hope you're all having a great week so far. So this weekend I'm going to be taking the Turbo X on its first road trip. Well, definitely not this car's first road trip, but the first road trip with me owning it. Sedona is probably one of the most beautiful places, not only in the Southwest, but probably the entire country. So I'm really excited to go up there for the weekend and have some fun. So I'm bringing the Turbo X. There might be snow as well, so that should make for potentially a fun video. I probably will film something while I'm up there. But that's not what this video is about. You guys will see that content in the next week or so. But today, I just want to go over a checklist or a few things that you should look for on your car and a few things that you should do before you take it on a road trip. This doesn't matter if it's going to be like a 2 or 3 hour drive like what I'll be doing this weekend, or if you're going on a cross-country road trip that'll take you a week. These are all things that you should do. Depending on how long your road trip is, you might need to do more or less of them. So I would say the first and biggest thing that you should do is check your tire pressures, because over time your tires can start to leak, and even though they look fine, the tire pressure could be low. And more importantly, you want to make sure, which I am guilty of right now, you want to make sure that you have a spare. Which, as you can see, my Turbo X does not have a spare. For some reason, some of these didn't come with a spare. It's not like it was taken out, it just literally didn't come with a spare tire. So first off, making sure you have a spare tire, and then making sure that not only your spare tire, but all your tires are, 1, inflated properly, and 2, in good enough condition to make the road trip. So of course, if you do run into a flat tire, or if you do end up with a flat tire, make sure you also have the necessary tools to change your tire. So if you have wheel locks, make sure you have the key and any sort of adapter that you might need for that. And make sure you also have a jack, and you have just make sure you got everything that you need to change your tire successfully. Second up, you just saw it in the trunk when I opened it, a case of water, or at least some coolant. You should always have some water, especially if you're going to be going over the summer. You never know if your car is going to overheat. But I have a case of water instead of coolant. I could put some coolant in there as well, but in case we would get stranded for some reason, it's always good to have some water and even some food too. And if you're going on a really long road trip, like a cross-country trip, you might also want to change your oil, your filter, flush the coolant if it hasn't been done in a while, especially. So make sure that if you're going on probably like a couple 1,000-mile road trip or something really long, I would suggest doing that before you leave too. If your car does leak oil, you might also want to bring some extra oil, and if you're feeling really precautionary, you might also want to bring some extra brake fluid, power steering fluid, etc., even though there's really a very small chance that you would ever need something like that. So one thing that you should do either the morning that you leave or the day before is check all of your fluids. So you want to check, of course, your oil level, probably most importantly, your coolant level, your brake fluid if that's low, your power steering fluid, everything that I already talked about. Just make sure that everything is at least where it should be. And if it's low, of course, go ahead and top it off. And if it's low, that might mean that you have a leak, and you might want to consider throwing some in your trunk before you leave. Now, one other thing that I have with me that I would also consider bringing on a road trip if I were you is some sort of jumper cables or self-starter pack. Now, I got this particular pack or jump starter kit sent to me, and I haven't really used it a whole lot yet, but I mean, you see how small it is. Just goes right in my trunk there. As you can see, you got your jumper cables right there, and then it'll tell you, make sure if you do have one of these, make sure it's charged though. If it's not charged, obviously it's not going to do anything for you. But having something like this, just in case you stop somewhere or your car won't start one morning and you're camping, or you're not in a populated area, that could be really crucial and important. So that's really all I have for today, guys. That's just a checklist of some things that you can do before you take your car on a road trip. If you have any other suggestions or things that you personally do before you take your car on a road trip, please comment them down below. I'll definitely do them before I take this car on a road trip this weekend. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be beautiful up there. So like I said, I'll be filming something while I'm up there, or maybe just a video of the whole trip. But with that being said, guys, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. I'll see y'all next time.